Hello everybody, welcome back to Sports Card Connections, and today I have a little different video. You ever have a favorite player? I have. And my favorite player my whole life died September 4th, this past week. So I thought I would show everything I have from his career in my collection. And let's talk a little bit about Eddie Meador of the Los Angeles Rams. He was my favorite player as long as I can remember. Matty Alou in baseball, but Eddie Meador was my overall favorite player. He was just real special to me. And here's what I've got. Take a look at some interesting cards. This is a 1959. We're going to have this focusing nonsense again. 59 Bell brand, for those of you who may not know, let's see if we can get this to behave, was a Southern California potato chip brand. They did the entire Rams team in 1959 and 1960. This is 59, so he was a rookie right out of Arkansas Tech, and this is his first card. 1960s have the yellow borders, and most of the pictures are the same if the player was in both sets. Anyways, Bell brands are not that easy to get. Then we'll move on to 1962 Post from the back of cereal box. And I only don't have that many from this set, but of course I do have him. 1963 is one of the first Topps card. And there's a variation. Many 63s you'll find, as weird as the sky looks here, this is the more natural color of the two. As you can see, there's the green tint variation. And anyways, Topps had a problem in their football set that year with this kind of a reddish weird look to the sky and background, so they seem to have compensated with a green tint, which is kind of strange, but you will see this variation. I hope I don't knock these down this time. We go to 1964 Philadelphia gum, and here's the team card. There he is right there in the front, 21. I always wore 21 when I played football, obvious reasons. Okay, then his 1964 Philadelphia regular card. These are the ones with blue backs. Philadelphia at this time had the NFL contract. Topps had the AFL contract. Fleer was out at this point in football. 1965, the Rams had switched from the blue and gold to the blue and white uniforms. There we are. 65. 66. Here's the team card again. Philadelphia actually issued real new team pictures. Topps at the time, they would reuse and recycle team photos. It's really ridiculous. Anyways, always front and center for Eddie Meador, being the defensive captain of the Rams. Here's his regular 66 card. These are the greenbacks, where they tried to include, in a weird way, twice as many players by having these Guess Who quizzes on the back, and none of the players had a card in the set. That's actually Angelo Coya of the Redskins. The problem with the old football sets is, of course, they just didn't print that many players, so there'd be 8 to 9 per team. When you got rosters ranging from, like, in the 50s, 36 or 37 players or so, to the mid-40s and way over the 50s, the number of players, and yet they were printing 9 to 10. By the time the 70s rolled around, they had like 52 players or whatever, and they're printing 9 to 10. 1973, they expanded and basically like a 20 plus players per team, but that's still, maybe half of the NFL's not on a card. So even all-pro caliber players, Hall of Fame players, have years where they're skipped entirely. In 1967, that's an example with Eddie Meador. He was all-pro, he was all everything, but he's only on the team card. Philadelphia didn't print him in 67 just because of the numbers game. My first Eddie Meador card as a kid, 1968. Some had the coin rub, some just have a cartoon with a interesting comment about the player. I also saw somebody had done a custom in the 68 format, so I had to pick that up. Here we are. 1969. Love this card. I have a friend of mine who hates this set, but I love it. He doesn't like the backgrounds. And then, of course, it's the same photo for the mini stamp set as the, as the regular card. There we go. Of course, there's the same photo as the regular card without the background blanked out. In 1969, Glendale issued a set of like stamps or whatever they called. They're very thin. I think they were to go in an album. I've never seen the album. Anyways, I do have Eddie Meador. And his last year was 1970. Topps still using one of these old early 60s photos because Kellogg's, this is a Kellogg's 3D card, they did get their photos from Topps. He retired after the year. His career was 1959 to 1970. There you see his going into his last year. He ended up with 46 interceptions. He is the Rams' all-time leader in interceptions to this day. Very versatile player. Action Packed issued a special card as talking about how he had won the Whizzer White Award, NFL Man of the Year, for his work with mentally disabled. His first son, I believe, was born with cerebral palsy. He did a lot in that direction. He was also NFL Father of the Year. In 1969, the Rams set up some signings at Montgomery Ward's department stores. And there I knew I'd knock one over, and I just did. And I went. And so he signed my little autograph book. But also, it's a little big. I don't know if I move it back too far, I'm going to hit the cards. He had a stack of these with him. And the Rams had beaten the Eagles a couple of weeks previous to this signing, and he had returned an interception for a touchdown, and I ran around the house like a maniac, jumped up in the air, caught my foot at the corner of the wall, and severely sprained my ankle. And my mother's telling him the story, and he's looking at me in his southern drawl. He said, "Now, did you really hurt your ankle?" I said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "Now, you walk around and show me." So he held up the whole line while I walked around and showed him. He said, "Well, you really did get hurt." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I was so excited. Oh, my goodness." And then he said, "Well, now, you be careful from now on, Jeff." I've never forgotten how nice he was to an 11-year-old kid getting to meet his hero. And finally, I hope that's going to stand up, and it may not. It's not wanting to just lay it down. Last year I sent him this card, told him my story of walking around in front of him with my ankle, and said, "Here's the card I should have brought with me that night because I pulled this out of a pack." in 1968, and he signed it for me. So, just a few things about him. 6 times in the Pro Bowl, defensive captain. He made the NFL's all 1960s team as safety. He's the only all-decade safety not in the Hall of Fame. The Rams' all-time interception leader. 3 times All-Pro second team, 3 times All-Pro first team. All-time interception for touchdown leader. He returned 5 for touchdowns, including that one against the Eagles. He's their all-time fumble recovery leader with 18. Block kicks with 10. In college, first team Little All-America. He's on the Rams' all-time team. He was the president of the NFL Players Association. Won that Whizzer White Award, NFL Father of the Year, and just an all-around great guy. Read a lot of nice comments from his kids. And if they ever see this, thank you for loaning your dad to us. He was my favorite player, and he meant a lot to me. And he was very nice to that 11-year-old kid, and I always get anything I can on Eddie Meador, my all-time favorite player, and just a genuinely nice guy. I hope he finally does get put in the Hall of Fame eventually. He should have been a long time ago. So that's it for this time. We'll go to my promised Pro Set Soccer video next. Thanks a lot for helping me remember the great Eddie Meador. And for you old-time Rams fans, you know how good he was. Check him out on YouTube. Check out some of his video, maybe of him playing. He could do it all. He'd been an offensive star in college. He held for kicks. He was just a nice guy. Very humble. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. Bye.